Our next award is the John and Barbara Yellott Award. It honors a graduate student concentrating on solar energy in a recognized institution of higher learning. The award recognizes scholarship and early career contributions to solar research. Our award winner, the award, by the way, is named for John and Barbara Yellott. Yellott himself is a pioneer going quite a ways back with ASES and before that, the Association of Applied Solar Energy. In its early years in the 50s, he was a recognized researcher in solar energy for the use of solar energy on his own home and in participating in the growth of the solar industry. He was associated with the Department of Architecture at the Arizona State University, where he taught solar energy students. Barbara Yellott, we couldn't find a picture of her, but the people at ASU have promised that once they get back to work that they will send me one, had long interest in students and education, and she is the one responsible for setting up this particular award named for the two of them. I point out here that if you look back at the timeline, I don't know if you can see this well, back into the early mid-1950s, when everything started up with that pioneering conference in Arizona. Yellott was the first executive director of that organization that preceded ASES and ISIS and everything, and also became if I recall, the first president of ISIS later on. So our award winner in this is a very special person. It's Anishkumar Soman from the University of Delaware. You know, I could go and say lots of things, but Anish has already established himself with some outstanding credentials, even as a PhD candidate and an early career scientist. His current research is focused on improving the performance of PV technology, specifically with interface engineering and processing of high efficiency silicon PV devices. His research advisor strongly endorsed Anish's qualifications for this ASES award. Dr. Ujjwal Das pointed out that Anish's talent goes beyond photovoltaics into the whole area of photonics. And coupled with this is the fact that Anish had an internship at the U.S. Army Research Lab working on the development and reliability of two-dimensional materials for space use. And as part of this, Anish's 2D material chip was launched on the Antares rocket for use in the International Space Station. Steve Hedges, okay, also a pioneer himself in solar PV, just gave a whole host of accomplishment that Anish has been involved with at the University of Delaware. Okay, but the words supporting Anish's commitment and persistence to wanting to contribute to solar energy are most noteworthy, and I just want to read this. It says, in 2014, I received a request from a young Indian researcher to study with me for a PhD. Something about this application caught my attention. I sensed a person behind it who was as passionate about solar energy as I am. Well, the problem is, of course, all of us who work with DOE, at that time, Steve just didn't have the funds. DOE listened, get Steve some more funding. He finally encouraged Anish to continue his work, which was at IIT Bombay, where I also have some activities. And eventually Anish arrived at the University of Delaware. So that all turned out pretty well. Anish's resume, you should see this, is one, when I looked at it, I didn't know either he was being considered for this graduate student award or being considered for a tenured faculty position at the University of Delaware. He has something like 15 journal publications, more than 30 conference presentations, and a host of awards already for his work. And Anish is an outstanding recipient of this award, but keep your eyes on him in the future. So for innovation in interface engineering and processing for silicon photovoltaics, the 2020 ASES John and Barbara Yellott Award goes to Anishkumar Soman. Anish.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaspersky, for the kind introduction. It was really very kind of you. I'll definitely try to be deserving for those words. So, good evening, everyone. I'm extremely overwhelmed. I'm grateful, honored, and humbled at the same time to receive this recognition from ASES. I must say that the biggest part of the contribution goes to the amazing mentors and advisors that I had. So, firstly, I would like to thank all the great mentors that I've had in my life, starting from Dr. Alden Anthony from IIT Bombay, Dr. Stephen Hegedus, Dr. Ujjwal Das from IEC, and from University of Delaware. They have been so supportive and encouraging, and all the credit for the work that I have done till now goes to them. On a personal front, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank my parents. So thank you, mom and dad, for all the sacrifices and everything you have done for me for a beautiful life. I'm so grateful. A big thanks to my brother who always used to push me for everything, for all my close friends and family, extended family who always supported me when I needed the most. Also, a special tribute to another person in my family who is a big enthusiast for solar, my dog Raja. He is Unfortunately, he is no more with us. He passed away 2 months back, but he used to love sunshine. He used to love going out in the sun. So I'm sure he would be happy for me getting this recognition, and I really miss him. And lastly, I am greatly indebted and thankful to ACES award committee, the board members, the Yellotts, the sponsors, and everyone else who made this possible. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart. I'm indebted for this privilege of not just working in this field, but working with so many of you who is striving to make this world better using solar. So it's a bit unfortunate I couldn't meet all of you in person, but I hope I can meet all of you next year in Colorado. So thank you once again, everyone, and congratulations to the other award winners. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Anish. And I want to point out one other thing about Anish. You know, he spends all his time on virtual conferences now. Last week was the IEEE PVSC virtual conference, where we had an IEEE PVSC Sun Run. And there is Anish, okay, with his time reported in on this whole thing. The only bad thing is Anish still beat me. So Anish is not only a scientist, he's also an athlete.
That's a bad time, but I'll still take it. Thank you so much.
That makes my time look even worse.